You can't hear it, but I have had Shakin' Stevens like on repeat in my head since the start of November. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I am taking the Winter is Coming tag. So, because I am Irish, I think I've said this before, but we follow a different seasonal calendar. So in Ireland, it's already winter. Before quite a lot of the rest of the Northern Hemisphere, winter is only going to come in December. So, with that in mind, winter is on its way, and I'm going to celebrate that by answering some wintry themed bookish questions. I found this on Catherine Barca. It was maybe 3 or 4 years ago that she made this tag, but it felt like such a great way to welcome in winter. Question number 1 is snow. It is beautiful when it falls, but then it starts to melt. So what is a book that you really, really liked at the beginning, but you kind of lost your favor with it in the middle? It really pains me to say this, but it has to be The Black Kids by Christina Hammond Reid, for the simple reason that it started out as such a great book and I really enjoyed it. And then there was a cheating storyline, and I absolutely abhor anything to do with cheating in books. I abhor anything to do with cheating in real life too, but it feels like such a kick when you read it in a book. So when that storyline started to form, I kind of lost a bit of love for that book, even though overall I did still really enjoy it, and overall I did still give it, I think, 3.5 stars. It just really knocked it down for me there. Question number 2 is snowflake. Something beautiful and always different. Choose something that stands out and is different to all of the books that you have read before. I think something that stands out is always going to be your first book, so it's one that you're never really going to forget. And for me, the first book that I read completely cover to cover by myself was Matilda by Roald Dahl. It was, I think I was 7 when I read that by myself, and I just fell in love with reading from that. So I think that for that reason, Matilda is a book that stands out for me so much there. Question number 3 is Snowman, something that is fun for all the family. So pick a book that your entire family could read. Okay, I'm not going to say the entire family, but I am going to say me and my dad. We share books together quite a lot. Like, I've given him books that I've gotten from publishers and that I know he's going to really enjoy. And he has also just recently sent me a book himself. Just a couple of days ago, I got kind of a care package from my parents, and in it was The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. He said that he really loved this book, and thrillers are kind of a genre that both of us will really enjoy. So I know if he has enjoyed this, I am very likely going to like it too. Question number 4 is Christmas. So choose a book that is full of happiness and that makes you feel really warm inside. For this, I'm going to go with Snowflakes at Mistletoe Cottage by Katie Ginger. It came out last year and I read it last year, kind of around this time of year. And if you like DIY SOS, if you like Room to Improve, if you like Extreme Makeover Home Edition, like any kind of home renovation program, this book is absolutely going to be up your street because it involves a very old, run-down cottage that the main character comes to and just completely overdoes it. It's such a wonderful book, but it also has so much wintry feeling and community spirit, and there's a romance involved, and there's Christmas, and it's such a great book to read. I really, really recommend it. Question number 5 is Santa Claus, and he brings wonderful presents. So what is a book that you would like to get this Christmas? My Amazon wish list is kind of overflowing, and my bookshelves are also kind of overflowing, so I shouldn't really have anything on there. But if there are any books that I could get for Christmas, I know 2 right off the top of my head, and they are both by Newcastle authors, and they are both non-fiction. They're kind of like autobiographies. So we have got Shag Married Annoyed by Chris and Rosie Ramsey, who run the Shag Married Annoyed podcast, and it is the highlight of my Friday. And I say this as somebody who works a Monday to Friday job. I wake up on a Friday morning, download it, and then I have it in background when I'm at work, or I listen to it while I'm doing my grocery shopping, and it is hilarious. If you haven't listened to it yet, there are 80 something episodes right now that you can go back on and listen to. It's fantastic. And another one is Ant and Dec's biography, Once Upon a Time, where they talk about their lives and growing up in Newcastle and Biker Grove, which they started when they were like 15, 16 years old, and kind of the 30 or so years that they have been in show business and presenting and all that kind of thing. It's something that I'm really interested in reading because I love them as a duo. They're kind of my favorite double act. And I know that that's a book that's going to make me really, really smile. Snowballing. It can hurt to be hit by a snowball. So what is a book that really hurt you or that really played to your emotions, like made you sad or angry or disappointed? And for this one, I'm going to have to go with The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. I read that last year. I got a copy of it from NetGalley, and the ending of it let it down spectacularly. It is about infertility and motherhood and not really being sure if you're going to be a mother, but the main character, Kristen, falls in love with a man named Josh who wants a really big family, and she kind of realizes that that means that they're not compatible because he wants a really big family and she can't have any children. Spoiler alert, at the end of the book they have a child naturally, and it just felt like such a kick in the vagina for so many people who cannot do that, for so many people who can't have their own kids naturally, who have struggled to conceive, who have had multiple losses. It felt like such a disservice to people for whom that's the daily reality. Sledding is something that we all love when we were younger. So what is a book that you really loved when you were younger? Again, I'm going to probably go with Matilda here. It's the book from my childhood that absolutely stands out. Whenever I talk about books that I loved when I was a kid, I talk about Matilda to everybody. I also really loved Bill's New Frock by Anne Finn, the Babysitter's Club series by Anna Martin, Princess Diary series by Meg Cabot. So many Jacqueline Wilson books. I could be here all day listing out the Jacqueline Wilson books that I loved when I was a child. I was a really big reader when I was a little girl, so there are so many books that I could have answered with this. Frostbite. Choose a book that you were really disappointed in. And again, I'm going to go back to an earlier answer and say The Friend Zone, because I expected so much more from that ending. I expected so much more from the book in general, and it just really, really let me down. And I feel so much for the people who are in the situation that the book portrays, and who know that this isn't a realistic portrayal, and who know that this doesn't happen to everybody, and who know that that was just a happy ever after ending tacked on to make the book a happy ever after ending. Final question is reindeer, something that is dear to us. So name a book that has a sentimental value to you. And for this one, it's another Roald Dahl book, but it's not Matilda, it's actually the BFG. So when I was maybe like 8, 9, 10, I had bunk beds in my bed, and I would usually sleep on the top bunk and just throw everything onto the bottom one. But my dad would come in every night before I went to sleep, and we would read a book together, and sometimes it was the BFG. And when we did do that, he would read out the parts of the narrator and of the BFG, and I would read out the parts of Sophie, and that brought us very close together, made me love books, and is one of my absolute most treasured memories. I haven't read the BFG in such a long time because I know that every time I do, I'm just going to be brought back to that memory of my dad standing beside my bed and me reading out with him. And so that is the Winter is Coming tag. Are you excited for winter, or is winter kind of not your season? Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.